Welcome to Nkosi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning, wherever you might be, and good evening, different time zone. My name is Nomsa Clara Mncube. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Nkosi Talk Shows. I'm your love harmonist. Find your own voice and lead from within. That's what we do at Nkosi Talk Shows. With me today, I have Carol Ann and Amanda. Please, Carol Ann, introduce yourself to our audience.
I'd love to. Thank you, Nomsa. And as the writing facilitator, what I do is I support soul-driven entrepreneurs in becoming more productive with their writing. And I empower them to shine through getting their story written by connecting them with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within and getting their story written, because you cannot publish what isn't written. And all of this has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So, Amanda, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name's Amanda Cottrell. I'm the founder of Art, Mindfulness, and Creativity. I help people find their own unique creative capacities within themselves. I'm also a teacher, an author, and an illustrator. And it's bright and early, so good morning from Canada. And I'm excited for today's topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amanda and Carol Ann. So our topic today is how basically do you design your business and bring happiness to you and your clients. And over to you, Carol Ann. How do you understand this topic?
Great question. Great question. How do you decide your business to bring happiness to you and your clients? And actually about creating that happiness and keeping it, maintaining it, and having loyalty from those customers or clients. I think what immediately popped into my head was actually, you have to be happy. You have to enjoy what you're doing and be doing something that you're actually passionate about. And it's important to understand your why. Why would you be doing this? Why would you want to set up a business? But why this particular business? So I think that's a key thing in about enabling you to be happy. Because if you're not happy in your business, guess what? You certainly won't attract any customers or clients, and they're not going to be happy. You know, there'll be discontent and something won't feel right. And it's not going to grow, it's not going to thrive, and you're not going to feel happy, and you go in a downward spiral. So really get clear, what are you passionate about? What is your why? What drives you? And then the next important thing is actually to look at your clients. Who is your ideal customer, your ideal client? And get to know them. What are their needs? What are their wants? And you very often find there's a reflection, something that as you're passionate about, they're passionate about. There's something that's happened to you that they could be going through or about to go through that you can support them in some way that they don't have to experience the pain that you went through. And you can make their life happier a lot quicker. So it is important to understand, though, where they're at, what are their needs, what are their wants, and get to know them. Something that Pooja Agnihotri said, the golden rule here is to stop assuming what your customers are going to like and what they want. Instead, start putting yourself in their shoes to familiarize yourself with their needs and wants. That way, you'll never go wrong. So that's how I look at it at the moment. And I think there's a lot of other bits around that and in that we can pull it apart and look at it, because I think that's just the basis. So Amanda, what about you?
Well, mine's a little bit different because most of my clients are I've never met before because I sell books on Amazon. So finding a way to keep people happy is actually finding how to get my book to market so that people see it. And so that's something that I'm continuously working on and growing. And then the feedback that I get is the stars on Amazon. So that's something that I find because I'm also a teacher as well. So getting my business is sort of my like passive income. And so it's a little bit different for me, but definitely there's a lot of research that goes into what I do, because I have to research the keywords to put on my ads on Amazon. I have to research how to market and how to get that's actually something that I've been working on is watching different videos and different specialists on how to market better and how to get my books out there more, and then also I've been trying to cater to more because my focus is always on mindfulness as well. So I've started a blog, and even though I really don't love email, that's something that I've been avoiding making an email list forever. But now on my blog, I have like where you can subscribe with an email. So that's something that I'm starting to, and it's really a learning journey. And like you said, Caroline, you learn what the clients want, and I definitely think that in writing books you learn too. And with mine, my purpose originally was only to ever write one book and to have it in my classroom, because I had this idea about I wanted to write a book on feelings and allowing for a little bit older kids, where you could have more in-depth conversations with them about their feelings and about why they feel certain ways. And so I originally just planned to have one book in my classroom so that I could use it there, and then I ended up learning how to get onto Amazon and how to self-publish books. And so there's just a constant learning journey. And I think that's something that's really important to recognize when you start a business, is that it may take you in a lot different direction than you originally planned.
Absolutely. I love what you said about it's a constant learning journey. And I think that's something that's driven me all these years, is that quote by Alvin Toffler: the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those that cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And what I'm hearing is through writing your books and getting okay, you've written them, you've published them, you found out how to do that, but there's a whole other thing to do, and that's about learning how to market them. And so we may have ideas about marketing, but it's about unlearning those ideas and relearning some new strategies, new ones that actually work in this day and age, letting go of our outdated ways of marketing. But I love, what you said about yours is marketing your books. And I was going to ask you, what was the reason you actually started writing them? That, as you said, there was something came up and you felt you wanted to write a book, and there's this particular topic. And I think topics have then cropped up, haven't they, for you as they've come along? And so maybe there's something in your topics, there's your key words, and maybe actually writing your story as well about your journey of writing books would also inspire others. But there's some things that come out from there. Who knows? You say it's a learning journey, and I think it's allowing yourself to go on this adventure, because I love to think of it as an adventure, and I think that's brilliant. So I love the way you've opened up into the blogging, getting your emails, and going, oh, I don't like emails, but it's something that is there for you that will help your promote your books. And so sometimes we have to take on things that we don't like, but maybe look at why don't we like them? Go inside, do some inner work, and get to embrace what's there for you to do that would help you to then market your books. So I love that you're taking all of this on, Amanda. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So Nomsa, what about you? Where are you at with this topic?
For me, basically, to create basically happy, for me to be happy with my business, I have to make sure that my company core values and they match a unique my business culture. And also I have to understand, like Carol Ann, you said, I have to understand the pain of my clients, their needs, their desires, basically, so I can be able to help them. And sometimes it does help with that. You don't have to necessarily have to have gone through that pain, but when you have gone through the pain that you're solving based on your business, it's even better. But you can't compare your pain that you went through with your clients. You have to understand that every person is individual and every story is unique and is individual, and just try to understand your clients' needs as individual, not looking at your clients as in one. You just try to understand them. And I like it when you say you have to do some research about your ideal clients. And basically, in order for you to basically to be happy with your business and be able to serve others, you have to do some research. You have to, even your competitors as well, for you to be able to be happy, you have to look at your competitors, the gap where they are, and then you fill that gap, not trying to compete with them, just fill that gap. And that helps with you running the company and being happy as well. And Amanda is blogging. I can't blog. I tried it once. It's hard work. It's too much. It's basically it's okay. It's nice if you have the time, but I think I'll give it to somebody else to blog for me. Actually, blogging is the right way actually to drive the traffic to your website. Is really, really good. And the emailing list is really good. And I like, Amanda, when you say everything is a learning journey. And when you basically, marketing is good. I did learn marketing, and it's actually, when you learn things, you do some research, you're not necessarily going to do it yourself. It actually helps you with the bogus people who come to you, like on LinkedIn. I see people, because I did training for marketing, and somebody will approach me and say, okay, I'll do the marketing for your company. And then it helps you when you have the basics of whatever is going on. When you hire somebody or you hire a company to help you, it helps you to work with the right people and ask the right questions. Because when somebody comes to you and they say, I'm going to help you with marketing, Facebook ads and this and Google ads and stuff, if you already know what is going on, like myself, I've done some research. I've seen people coming to me trying basically to con me that have basic marketing, and they want to charge me actually £500 a month or 700. I'm like, I ask the questions and they're not able to answer me the questions. They're like, I need to go back and find out, and then I come back to you. And then when they come back to you, they're not actually coming back with the questions that I've asked. So then I realize actually this one is bogus, or this one, it doesn't know what they're doing. So it does help. Like Amanda, if you're blogging and you really find a professional blogger, you'll be able to ask the right questions. You'll be able to know. So for me, basically with my business and helping my clients, I basically spend, I think, 3 months or 4 or 5 months doing some research basically with regarding the clients, how can I serve the clients, and the pain that I have gone through, and basically understanding that my job is not to compare my pain with my clients, but it's just to hold their hands through those dark times until we find the light together. Because looking for love is not, it's not an easy journey. Sometimes the people might think they know what they want, and when they start being coached, they realize actually they don't. So you have to go through that dark times with them. Over to you, Carol Ann.
I love what you just said there. Help them find the light, hold their hand, and in their dark times. It's not about trying to rescue them and say, no, don't go in there. You really don't want to go in there. It's just holding their hand. It's just being with them and helping them to find the light, allowing them in their own time to find the light. But there's that support, and that's invaluable, because that really helps them to go with what they need to go with, experience what they need to experience, and also learn what's there for them to learn. So it is about being with your customer, with your client, understanding them. And as you said, Nomsa, each one is unique. And you can probably find threads of similarities between different clients, but each client will have their own way of expressing it. Each client will have their own way of being with what's there for them and what they feel that they want to experience and what support they need. And so it's actually being able to be with each one and understand their unique needs. What is it? What is the support that they want that would help them? You know, what are they looking for? And that can be completely different to what someone else is looking for. So I certainly love what you were saying there. There's certainly very important points to remember. And definitely blogging. Yes, I'm sort of, yes, you can get someone else to do it for you. From where I come from, you writing your own blogs, it's your own words and it has your energy to it. It's got your tone. And so I would actually argue for you writing your own blogs and working on, well, what's in the way of me writing these blogs? What are my limiting beliefs? What's my fears? What are my frustrations? Because if you use that as a metaphor there, those fears, limiting beliefs, and restrictions that are going on for you are what you're experiencing with your business. And if you work on those, that will also to help you with your business. That's just the way I see things and I think about things, because for me, someone else writing something for you doesn't have your tone, doesn't have your energy. And so maybe, okay, get someone to write something for you, but go through it. Just tweak it so it does have your tone. Maybe they could start something for you. You've got some ideas, but it needs your tone and your voice and your energy. And for me, that's what I believe is important, because that gives authenticity. That's what then connects with your reader and potential client. So yeah, that's my spin on it. I don't know, what you think, Amanda?
Well, I like what you said, where there's some things that you need to put your energy into too. But everything that I've been learning about is to hire out, and I haven't started doing this yet, but it's to hire out the things that you really don't like doing. So if you really don't like blogging, then it would be, but I like to write. So that's my blogging is actually part of my like mental health journey. It's to get writing gets me in the zone, and it gets me focused, and it gets me writing about something that I'm passionate about. So for me, that's part of my own life healing journey, and that's why I started writing a blog, because I was writing for a magazine once a month, and then it wasn't giving me the exposure that I had hoped for, and so I was like, and then I hadn't been writing for a while, and I was like, I kind of miss writing once a month, and so I've been writing a little bit more, and I'm going to try to write once a week, so that I have a more consistency. But definitely in the area of marketing, that's something that I need to learn how to find the right marketer and get them to help me, because when I try to do everything myself, it becomes overwhelming, and I think you have to also be gentle with yourself on your journey to being to having your own business, because it's you can't have everything right away, and you can't learn everything right away. And I was looking last night, I got some books. Actually, I had a lady who wanted to order books at a lower cost, because as a author, I can order author copies and then get them and sell them too. But I don't generally do that. I usually just allow Amazon to deal with it, because I'm a teacher and a single mom, and I have so many other things going on that once my book's out there and I've done a little bit of marketing, I kind of just leave them. But I need to pay somebody to get onto that marketing piece. But one of the really interesting things about looking at my book yesterday, the books that came in for the lady, is that through my learning journey, I learned how originally I first just drew my books in a sketchbook, and then I took pictures of them, and then I got them on Amazon after doing a little bit of editing on my computer. And then I ended up getting an iPad Pro so that I could do digital drawings, and my digital drawings are just they look just so much more professional. And it's just been, if I had started being like, I'm not going to write anything until I learn all of it, I would still have not a single book published. But I have 8 children's books published, and so I think that part of the learning journey is too, like, I got 8 books out really quickly, and then I kind of went back and was like, I need to learn how to do some of these other things better before I continue to produce content, because just producing content isn't getting me to where I want to be. I need to learn how to do better quality now. And so the quality of my books have improved in the illustration area, because I now have, and I've been learning how to draw on my iPad with Procreate. And even though I prefer to actually use pencil and paper and draw that way, it definitely makes my books look more professional when I have used at least Procreate for some of it. So now I've started where I sketch it out first in my book, and then I take a picture of the sketch, and then I do a digital drawing. So that's kind of now my process, whereas originally my process was very, very different. And so it's just been learning constantly along the way, and also being okay to go back and make things better. And so I had the books that I ordered yesterday had actually originally been a pencil drawing, and then I went back and redid them and did digital drawings, and they just look so much more professional. I was like, look at how far I've come. I've come so far in just a few years. And if you had said to me 5 years ago with like that you'd produce 8 children's books and be on this marketing learning journey and a blogging learning journey and writing for a magazine, I would have never believed you. And so I think, or even being on this talk show with people from the United Kingdom when I live in Calgary, in Canada, and I would have never thought those things were possible. But you just have to be open to allowing the journey to drive you. And like I said before, it's constant learning, but it's also, you may end up in areas that you don't expect. I never expected to be on a weekly talk show, and that's been a really big part of my journey too, is to learn how to speak and to be brave enough to speak. What about you, Nomsa?
Thank you so much, Amanda. I love it. And I agree with Carol Ann when it says you have to write your own blogs. For me, basically, I have so much content, but when I was trying to actually transfer that content to actually blogging, because there's a certain way that you need to put the content and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it for today. It's a nightmare, and I'm going to focus on my business. So, yeah. So I like it when you say basically you have to keep challenging yourself with the business, and challenging yourself with so many things around your customers, and going above and beyond, basically to serve your customer, to make sure that they are happy. I love that. And also showing empathy and respect to our customers, because our customers basically, for me, basically, I see myself like, as Lisa Nicholson says, you are the provider when it comes to your business. Your clients, basically, they make you who you are. So, but some people don't understand that. So you have to respect your clients. You have to serve with integrity. You have basically, you have to have the courage to go above and beyond your comfort zone as well. Because when you do that, and it gives you happiness when you serve somebody and they come back to you and they say thank you. And it basically it helps so much when you know that basically I'm serving people with empathy, with integrity, and I'm going all in for myself as well, for yourself as well. And when you serve and you are happy, having loads of rest, enjoying your wins, your success, and it gives us joy. Like, it goes the talk shows, when basically, like, when I look at how our YouTube is growing, it gives me joy to see the speakers are happy, and I know that the journey is very, very slow, but we don't know what's behind the scenes. And I know that it only takes 1 minute for things to change. I know that. So you basically have to do the right thing as well. Like, when it comes to when it comes to business, basically you have to, when you do your research and just work with the right people. There are some people out there who basically are in it for money, not to help clients. So you have to be able to pick the right team as well. And when you pick the right team and bring unity, the team and your clients and yourself, and build that unity, it does help when the company has unity within. It does help, and meditate to bring that good energy as well. And seek to understand the curiosity and trust, basically having clarity and trust. So it does help a lot. With my business, I've learned so much. Uh, I find that I'm not learning when it comes to success. When I do something, I succeed very quickly. I'm not learning out of that. The challenge is where I learn a lot, because I stop and I think, and I have to look back, and I have to analyze and basically define everything, and analyzing and just looking back and see where I've gone wrong and looking at the foundation of everything. So I find that when I'm faced with the challenges is that's when actually I'm learning about myself, and that's when I'm actually learning about my clients. And when I find a very, very challenging clients, like some people are annoying. They just want things to be done now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, now. So you find that basically just by calming that person down and just talking to them and making them realize that actually not everything can be just done now. It requires patience. Good results requires patience. I'm learning as well and building a relationship with that person and getting to know them really, because there's always a story behind when somebody wants the results now, not tomorrow. There's always a story behind it as well, and just trying to find out the story behind that character. Sometimes you end up finding things that you wouldn't think that somebody had gone through, and you're like there's a client that she keeps asking me that, is it because of my age that you've not women join for free? Is it because of my age that you have not been able to match me? So it has left me with questions. So I'm gonna have to basically, I've been thinking about her, that I need to ring her, really find out why is she actually blaming specifically her age. Is she been told by somebody that people from this age they can't find love? So I need to find out the story behind it. Even when I try to say, listen, you are not being matched because I have lots of people in my books, and basically, and also if somebody is not turned up that matches your beliefs and your values, then it's going to be tough for me just to match you with somebody that does not go with your values and beliefs. So it's always challenges when you go through them within the company and your clients, that you learn. It's a journey, and you learn to understand that when you think you know everything, but you don't about the business and about everything, and commitment as well. Commit to help, like here at Ngozi Talk Show. I see people who are committed, and it does help, because one day there will be a story to tell, and somebody will be like, oh, how did you guys build Ngozi Talk Show? You'll be like, do you have all day? Or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? So if they don't have all day, you just pick the points and say, we built it like this. It's just patience, everything. Over to you, Carol Ann.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there's something here wants to come out. And certainly about this patience and allowing it to take the time that it needs. And I know that's something that I've had to learn along the way. And I think very often we expect something to happen immediately, and it's possibly because everything is happening much more quickly. We're expecting things to happen just like that, when actually it does take time, and it is about having patience. But I love what you say about finding their backstory. It is finding out about them, what is going on for them, that has them be where they're at, and and why they're unhappy with the situation as it is, and are wanting it more quickly. What's that drive? And really getting to understand that. But yeah, when you think you know everything, actually, as you say, you don't. There's an inner part of you do know everything, but you don't know everything, if you know what I mean, consciously. And it's about bringing to consciousness the knowing that is there. And as I say, you say we think we've done everything to get a result. We think we know everything, but actually at a conscious level, we haven't. And it's allowing ourselves to open up into, well, what haven't I thought about? What could I possibly do that I haven't already thought about? What could I say that I haven't yet said that wants to be said? Because maybe there's some expression, some question, or some conversation that you haven't addressed that needs addressing. And it's about looking at those sort of things that help you to move on. For me, I know when you're talking about dealing with challenging clients, yes, certainly finding out about their backstory, but I tend to look at the reflection. What have they come to show me? What is here for me to learn? What part of me is being reflected here? And I will go in and work on that aspect within me. And then once I've done that, I find the conversation shifts with that other person. Something opens up. It's not quite such a challenge. The conversation opens up and you find yourself understanding them and being able to converse and dance in the conversation in a different way that has you suddenly understand them, and they understand where you're coming from as well. So for me, it's about going in and looking at myself and working in that way. And I think I love what somebody called Mac Duke says, because obviously with your business, you need to have a marketing plan. But what he says is that your marketing plan is not as important as how you plan to invest in the happiness of your customers. And when I read that, I thought, oh, that's an interesting spin. Have I actually thought about how do I plan to invest in the happiness of my customers and my clients? I thought about marketing and attempted to get my head around marketing, but I haven't actually looked at that aspect. So I think that's something that's really important to look at. So I'm going to sort of have a play around with that and see what happens there. But certainly it's about getting to understand your customer and understand their language. And I don't mean whether they speak a foreign language or not. It's about understanding how they say something. You might be somebody who's very visual. So you're always talking about what you see and you use a lot of visual words. They may be somebody who's very kinesthetic. So their words would be about what they feel. And therefore there's a mismatch of communication. So it's understanding what language they're using. And then you use the same. So be aware of what your language you're using, because I know this helped me when I was setting goals with somebody that when I first started training, and somebody agreed to let me do some work with them. And we just seemed to be going round and round in circles, trying to set a goal and getting quite frustrated about it until I suddenly heard my words and I heard her words. And I was asking her about, well, what do you feel? How does that make you feel? And those sort of questions, or how would you like to feel? And she was saying, well, I can't see it. And so she was using very visual words. And I went, oh. So it's like, well, look, if you could see it, what would you be seeing? And all of a sudden, boom, goal got set. And off we went. And it's taken me a bit of working on that, because sometimes it can feel really strange using those other words, and your default is, your own sort of way of saying something. But the more you get in tune with that, and the more you practice using those other modalities, those sort of words, you find that communication is easier. It's easier to dance in that conversation and get into their world, and use their language. So again, it's the listening skill. What are their words? How do they phrase things? Sometimes that may seem a little bit strange, but the way you phrase something is strange to them, and their whole being is going, I don't know what you mean. So how would they phrase it? And use that, because then they'll understand you. Don't expect them to use your phraseology, because that's not going to work, because you're expecting them to change. You're the one that needs to change, because there's something I read many, many years ago. It's the one who's most flexible commands the conversation. So are you being flexible, or are you being rigid and going, no, this customer has to understand what I'm saying, they have to do it this way? Or are you being flexible and getting to understand them? What's their language? How do they say things? What is it they're really looking for? It's just something to bear in mind. What do you think, Amanda?
I like what you talk about with flexibility, because I always think about that in the classroom. Like, you have this like plan and you're ready, you're going to teach, and then the kids come in from recess or something, and two kids have gotten into an argument, and it just shifts the whole focus of the class and what my original plan might have been. And so whenever I have like a student teacher, I'm always all about flexibility, because you have to like, you can't, I always sit this down and I plan out my whole week, and I have every single thing planned out for the week, but then I always shift things. So I leave a couple spaces open throughout my week, because I know things are going to shift. I know things are going to take longer than I expect them to. I know some things are going to take shorter than I expect them to. And so there's always this like flexibility piece where you're constantly being flexible to the students, like quickness on how fast they go, also to their moods, and to be able to adapt to what's going on with them. Sometimes they're just too tired, and it's as a whole they're tired, and you have to shift the day just by watching the room and being able to read the room. I think being able to read the room is something that's really important, that we don't always talk about, because that then you're attending to the people's needs when you can read the room. If you have a plan and you only stick to the plan no matter what, you're not being flexible to people's needs. And in business or in teaching, those are something that is very really, really important, is to consider people's needs in that moment, not necessarily their needs in the long run, but what they need in any given moment. Because what we need at any given moment is very different. And definitely if your clients are going through a struggle, then their needs at a different moment could be very, very different. We never know what's going to happen each day, and so your day could be totally thrown off by like a fender bender or something, and you just or a phone call, and you get into a disagreement with somebody that you care about. You never know how that's going to affect your day, even though you have a specific plan. So that flexibility piece is so important in so many areas of our life, not just one. Because we have to be able to adapt to people's feelings in that given moment, and to be able to read the room. I think that's something that's really important. Nomsa?
I'd just like to just jump in there with what you're saying about flexibility and reading the room. We've had to read the last couple of years, and I think that's the same with businesses. You've had to read what's going on and adapt your business accordingly. So again, that's where that flexibility comes in, of reading the room. I love that phrase. So reading where your customers are at, and what's shifting for them, what's shifting for your business, what's out there with society, and being able to adapt. And that's a great word there, Amanda. I love it. I love it. Nomsa?
I like it when Carol Annie say sometimes you use reflection basically with your clients and going and looking into their pain and investing happiness to your clients, because sometimes it's good to be aware of our language and be aware of our clients' language, because how we speak and how we see things, they might not see the things the same way that we see. Like I see my clients that, like myself, I'm a coach, basically a relationship coach. And when they come in, because they're not in that level, so we speak a different language. And sometimes you can see that how they think that they're gonna find relationship. They're like, some people basically have a mind of, I pay you my money, you give me what I want. So I'm like, it doesn't work like that. So I'm like, I have to explain to clients that it doesn't work like that. You pay for the service for me to deliver first class service, but you also have to do the work. Because when it comes to relationship, I'm not gonna be there when you go on dates. So I have to explain that I can find a man for you, or can find a woman for you, but you're gonna have to work with the coaches in order for you to get what you want. But when people come in, they are not in that place where they believe that they have to do the work, because the work is looking back at the mistakes that you've made when you selected somebody before, and making sure that you don't repeat that same mistake. They are simple people that select people because they feel sorry for them. Some people, they know what they want, but because the man is rich, they just want to date that person. But when it comes to a relationship, it doesn't work like that. So when you actually tell somebody that, no, you're gonna have to do the work, you're gonna have to look within and work with the coaches, so that when you go out, you basically prepared, you know what you want, and you basically you because when you going on dates, you have to watch everything, because everything is gonna be displayed. The woman, the man, how he talks to the waitresses, how he talks to you. That's how he's gonna look after you. That's how he's gonna be when you guys are together. So, and some men will be like, or women will be like, but I pay you to do the work. So I'm with you, Carol Ann, when you say you have to listen to the language and just reflect on why this person is behaving the way they are behaving, and also and be flexible. To understand, like for me, basically, I always have to make sure that if I have to change things around to make sure that that person is happy, it has to be done, as long it doesn't take away the culture of the company, the values of the company. So it's fine. So that it helps. And Amanda, you talked about being able to adapt as well with the children, like because basically the teachers, when it comes to children, they're like parents. They're the everyday things that we do, because when we leave children to school, basically we know they're with another parent. A teacher is like a parent to the children, because you get to know that child, and that's why it's important for a parent and a teacher to work together as a team. So, and being flexible as well, understanding children's needs, like the same way with the business. Amanda, I like that. You have to understand somebody's needs. What are their needs? What have they related to their story in the past? Just listen to their story. When you listen to them, relate to them, just get in and feel that pain a little bit, but don't stay there. Feel the pain, that what must have they gone through, and how are they responding to their past, the rejections. Because some people simple, there are these driven people who just want to work and get to the results. And when they enter a relationship, they don't have time to actually give a relationship. That's when a relationship coach comes in and say, listen, you can work hard and get the results, but you still need to give a relationship time. You still need to be flexible. You need to balance everything. So that's why we teach. Either if you don't learn to balance everything, you're a millionaire. It's going to cost you. Divorce is very, very costly, because if somebody they go on dates with you, and for the first 6 months everything you're giving them time, and then after you're no longer flexible, you don't adapt with the everything with work and love, there's gonna be divorce. So those are the things that we don't bring fear, but we have to put it out there that you have to be able to balance. No matter how busy you are, you have to balance work, because sometimes you don't have to be there. But there are some people like business owners, they want to be there even if they're not needed. So like sometimes and goes a talk show when sometimes I'm busy, or if I double book myself. That's why sometimes I say, Carol Ann and Amanda, please, you can broadcast yourself, because I know it's not necessary for me. I can be there, but if I'm needed, I can trust you guys. You do the same work even when I'm not there. You do the same thing. You basically are disciplined. You know what is needed. You know how to run everything. So I don't need to worry. So that's why business owners don't understand that. It's nice to have somebody training them within the business, and they understand how the business works. So you can just say, okay, I'm taking time. Run the business. I'll be back. Just as long you have a good manager and stuff. So I like that, Amanda, as well, just to be flexible, because sometimes life is too short. We have to balance, serve our customers, making sure they are happy, and at the same time we have to serve ourselves. We have to fulfill our needs, our purpose, and that means we have to give ourselves time to take a break away from work as well. So over to you, Carol Ann.
Yeah, I love that. You need to give, I'm just writing that down, you need to give self time and care, because that's something I keep hearing about, but I don't always practice. And I think we can get so consumed by our business that we forget ourselves. And so it is important to take that time and yet to train others, that if it is a sort of business that has got other people in there that you can train to take over for you, then do that. Because about being able to delegate is really important. And but giving yourself time to do what you need for yourself to revitalize, re-energize, and just give yourself a chance to refresh yourself is really important. So yes, certainly agree with you there, Nomsa. And something that sort of came out when you were talking about building your business, but also when you were talking about the relationship, building relationships, being prepared to do the work that you're giving them to do, you know, work with a coach. When you're building your own business, it's the same thing. You have to be prepared to do the work that's there to be done. And there's a lot of, like you're saying, Amanda, there's research to be done. There's a lot of other things that you need to do. Keeping in touch with your clients, communicating with them on a regular basis is really important. You know, keeping in communication with them, being consistent with them with that. But the all of those actions is what I call the outer work to be done. And a lot of that I've been putting off, and I'm now starting to look at that and do those sort of actions, because my focus has been on the inner work. And that's something you really need to be prepared to do when you're setting up your business, is to do the inner work. And that's very often where people won't go, because sometimes it's like, oh, I don't know if I can go there. But actually, that's where you'll get your biggest shifts. And I've come to believe that the balance is really 80% inner work, 20% what I call the outer work. Because I was doing 100% inner work. So as you can imagine, my business wasn't really going anywhere. I might have been doing 1% of the outer work. But I was certainly connecting with people and networking, but I wasn't doing all the other things like maintaining connection, being consistent, actually marketing and sharing what my business was about, and actually putting it out there for people to come and join me and work with me. So I've done a lot of the inner work, and then I realized I need to balance this up. So I've now started shifting and doing more of that outer work. It's been a bit tough, a bit, keep going like this with it. But I feel stronger with it. I feel like it's something that I can embody and do, and I am now starting to do. My next challenge is, can I keep this up? Because I've started, it's like you have to maintain it. You have to maintain a pace and be consistent. And that's something there that I know I'm going to have to work on, is consistency in those terms, because you get so far and then you think, oh, this is too much, this ain't working. But it is worth picking yourself up and maybe just take that little bit of break, little bit of self-care, but then go back and keep on doing it. Because as I think was it you, Nomsa, said about all of a sudden something will just go like that and it'll take off, and you just never know when. You just never know when. And I think there's a story about being just so far from success and somebody nearly gave up. I can't remember the full story, but you just never know when that next piece of communication, that next conversation, that next action that you take will be the action that everything suddenly takes off. So do keep going, do keep going. Amanda, what do you think?
I agree with you about that just keep going piece, because there's so many times where you can feel discouraged or you can feel stuck, and you're right, it's time to do some inner work, and the inner work is a journey too. You can't just get to this point where you're like, I'm happy. I'm happy all the time. It doesn't work that way. It's a journey of ups and downs. That's part of life. So I think I'll leave everybody with that it's a journey, and that you will get to know your clients, and you will learn from your clients, and you will learn along the way, and be gentle with yourself, because you're constantly learning and you'll be constantly adjusting, no matter where you are on your path with your business.
I think I'd just like to leave people with that, because it was something else that popped in my head when Nomsa was talking, is you need to have a clear vision about your business, where you want to go with your business. And so it's something that Pooja Agniatri said, if the end result is customer satisfaction, your business will thrive. If the end result is customer loyalty, your business will bloom. So there's something to think about. Is it just satisfaction, or is there something about customer loyalty? Which would you like for your business? Nomsa.
Loyalty, integrity. So for me, basically, thank you so much, Carol Ann. I'm going to leave you with this. Carol Ann, you said to maintain, and keep going, and Amanda, you say don't be discouraged. So I'm repeating this again. Do not be discouraged. Because, life, when I look back at things, there were times where I wanted to give up with the other things, but I kept going. And sometimes I speak to people, and the good thing that keeps me going is I speak to the coaches. If I'm not sure about my journey or the things I'm feeling discouraged, if I speak to my family, I know they just gonna speak their language and discourage me. So I find a coach and I speak to them, and it makes me feel, basically it pushes me. When you speak to somebody who thinks like you, when you're feeling discouraged, that person pushes you. Their words, they basically they want it all for you to succeed. So just find that person that is a champion. Like I always say before, maintain whatever you're doing, even if you feel discouraged. Just keep going, because tomorrow you don't know what tomorrow will bring. So just keep going and make sure you have a vision for your company, like Carol Ann is saying right now. So a vision is more important, and just hang in there, take action, don't live in faith and hope. Some people, they pray, like they get up in the morning and pray and say, hoping that God is going to rescue them. God brings people to rescue you. So look for good people. Your environment is more important, and your well-being. So we are here at Ngozi Talk Shows Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. And please, if you want to get in touch with the coaches, just go for it. A free consultation, a half an hour, and just find out about basically where you are and where you want to be. And we have different coaches from all walks of life. And just live with grace, everyone, and God bless. Go to our page. And if you're looking for love, go to Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency. Just register and I'll get back to you once I have your application form. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless.